Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking about hyperparameter tuning. Now, the best way to think about hyperparameters is you have a machine learning model, and this model has settings. And these settings, you need to set them even before you even start training the model. So you might have a setting or some settings that are continuous variables. Like, for example, you need to set it somewhere between 0 and 100. You might have a setting, or some settings might be discrete values, like you need to set it at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. For example, in k-means clustering, there's a setting which defines a number of clusters. That would be one of them. Or it could be a Boolean setting where you either set it to yes or no type of things, like a true or false type of setting. So there's lots of different types of settings, and the number and type of settings will be dependent on your model. So these hyperparameters, they're model specific. It's very important to understand. You don't need to know the exact hyperparameters for all of the models, but you do need to know that they are model specific. So if you're doing a k-means clustering algorithm versus a decision tree versus a neural network, you will have different sets of hyperparameters. Now, the other thing that's important to know is that you set these hyperparameters before you start training the model. So they're not learned during training. These are settings that you can adjust, or you can just set, you need to set before the model training starts. Then once you've set these hyperparameters, the process of hyperparameter tuning works as follows. So you've set the hyperparameters, then you train the model using the data that you have. The model gets trained, and in the training process, the hyperparameters do not change. What changes is the internal parameters of the model. So the model is responsible for learning those parameters. They're not hyperparameters, they're just normal parameters inside the model. They're trained, they're basically learned. And from there, you now evaluate your model. You see, how does it perform based on your tests or certain benchmarks, and is its performance acceptable to you or not? And then from there, if the performance is not as good as you'd like it to be, you go and adjust the hyperparameters. So you change the settings. So it's called hyperparameter tuning for a reason, because you like tuning these little knobs. Well, they're invisible knobs. They're just, hyperparameters that you have to just change the values. But you can think of it as you're tuning these knobs just to make it work a little bit better, or a lot better if you need to change a lot, like if you're very unhappy with the performance. And then you've changed the hyperparameters, and now you have to do this whole cycle again, because once you've changed the hyperparameters, you effectively have a different version of the model which you haven't trained yet. You need to now retrain the model, evaluate it again, and keep doing the cycle until you're happy with the result. And that's it. That's how hyperparameters work, and that's all you need to know for your exam. Here's a quick summary of what we discussed, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time. Until then, enjoy the cloud.